The Houston Rockets forced Game 7, even though Jalen Green didn't show up to the party. Me and Swipe are going to talk about the Rockets going to Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors and preview the Eastern Conference second round and Game 7 with the Nuggets and the Clippers. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On NBA Game Night.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
What's going on, everydayers? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On NBA Game Night, where it's every game, every night. That's Swiper one of the hosts of Locked On Nuggets. I'm Haize, one of the hosts of Locked On Bulls. And this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code Locked On NBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. We got another Game 7 coming down the pipeline. Swiper, after the Houston Rockets defeat the Golden State Warriors 115-107. This is a game where a big fourth quarter surge by the Rockets pushed them over the top in this one. Jalen Green, only 12 points. He goes 3 of 11 from the field, but luckily, Fred VanVleet with 29 points. You get 21 from Alperen Sengun. How'd you feel about this game?
Well, I picked the Warriors in 6 originally, but look, the Houston Rockets have been a better team the last 2 games. They obviously had a really, really good game too. Obviously Jimmy Butler went down in that game. I honestly, this is the Fred VanVleet that I think Rockets, the front office, thought they were getting. Fred has had many moments like this as a Raptor, where it's like all of a sudden he looks like a different player. And one of the things he did really well in his last year, and really his all-star kind of tier years, he was a really good pull-up shooter, really good three-point shooter, and his ability to be able to score off the dribble and to score as a catch-and-shoot shooter, it made all the difference for them. And today, that was another case of that. You get 29 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds from Fred VanVleet and 6 to 9 from 3. I mean, honestly, you can make an argument that Fred VanVleet has been the team's best player the last 2 games and 2 must-win games to tie the series back up. And that's what Alperen Sengun, I think, having another good game. Like, it wasn't Alpe's best game that he's had in the series, but overall, they're just getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. And I think they're continuing to set the tone of the series with this defense that they're playing right now. Also, Steven Adams, man, again, the NBA's moved Haize in this weird place. Because remember, for so many years, really with the Heat, with the small ball lineup, with Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, and then with Wade and LeBron, or with Kyrie and LeBron, that was kind of the NBA we were in. And then Draymond rises to power with Steph Curry, Draymond, Harrison Barnes, Klay Thompson, Sean Livingston, and then you move on to the KD small ball death lineup. And then now you move even into the Warriors in 22 a little bit, with Dre, and even when they were playing with Robert Williams, they were, Draymond and Jordan Poole and everybody. The league has shifted back to size, Haize. And I don't know when it was, but the league is a copycat league, and everybody was copycatting the Warriors and the Heat, and they went small. Houston Rockets, the 17, 18 years especially. But I think maybe it was the Nuggets championship, because of how big they were, that may have shifted the foundation of what a team supposed to look like. Hey, if I would have told you that Steven Adams could come into the playoffs this year and he could be potentially a top 3 player for the Houston Rockets this year, would that have even been on your forefront? Would you been able to imagine that from Steven Adams?
No, not at this stage of his career. Not to say that Steven Adams is some over-the-hill player or anything, but definitely wouldn't have expected him to have this type of impact in the playoffs against a team like the Golden State Warriors, especially that, you have Draymond, they have some size issues at times. Steven Adams, the way he's been playing, especially in this game, has been amazing.
Look, you get a non-shooting, non-scoring, non-spacing big who can't play on the perimeter at all. He's not even a great playmaker. He plays 31 minutes, y'all. He only takes 4 shots, but he gets to the line 16 times, in part because of the Hacker-Adams trade. But he has 5 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. But, y'all, he's a plus 15 off the bench. And when he's played in this series, again, y'all, go rewatch these games if you did not have the privilege and pleasure to watch it. The Warriors have had no answer for Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün in the game this year. And I'm going to tell y'all, like, I think that this could be something that carries them into the second round. Like, I could at this point now, Haize, with the way things have gone, what are the Warriors going to do to defend that two-man game? Because when Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün are on the court this year in 54 minutes played that I have logged on PBP, they have a plus 30.1 net rating, y'all, with a 120 offensive rating and an 89 defensive rating, because they're securing every offensive rebound possible. So they're getting multiple opportunities at the basket. The 3-point percentages are up in these situations because now they're just collapsing around them, having to get offensive rebound. And on the defensive end, they have an elite roster out there outside of Jalen Green, and everybody's contributing to the system. So honestly, it's just a super, super impressive series so far from the Houston Rockets, where a lot of people thought they wouldn't even make it 6 games, let alone 7. So this is locking in for some truly special basketball. But again, Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, Alperen Şengün, Haize, they deserve a lot of credit for just how good this team has been as of late.
They do. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that credit and also what the Golden State Warriors can look to adjust in Game 7. But first, let's get into this message from Jackson Gatlin, from one of the hosts of Locked on Rockets.
Houston Rockets take Game 6 and force a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors. Let's go. Game 7. Where are the doubters at now? Come on, guys. Where y'all at? Game 7 back in Houston. Rockets taking care of business against the Warriors on the road. A phenomenal effort to keep their season alive. Fred VanVleet, sensational, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 of 9 from downtown. He's flat out outplayed Steph Curry in the last 3 games of this series. Alperen Şengün in the middle, 21 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, just dominating, some of the best defense of his career. And the real key in this game for the Rockets, Steven Adams, 17 points, went 9 of 16 at the free throw line. The Warriors dared him with the Hack-a-Adams strategy. Ime Udoka didn't falter, trusted his big man, and he helped take care of business. The Rockets' defense was clamps in the fourth quarter. They held the Golden State Warriors to just 1 of 15 shooting, 5 points across the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter in this game to pull out the 115-107 win. Now things go back to Houston for the Game 7 to decide who moves on.
What do you think the Golden State Warriors can do to adjust to either Steven Adams, the two-man game that you mentioned? Like, what do the Golden State Warriors need to do in Game 7 to try to get a victory here?
They need to come up with some real intensity. They kind of lollygagged today. And you know, they, in the first quarter, you can say the first quarter went decently well. But kind of after that, like, once the Rockets got rolling offensively, and then, like I said, the two-man game came in the game, you know, they're trying to play post in those lineups. They just didn't bring the requisite energy and effort that you have to bring versus this Rockets team in order to put them away. And one of the great thing about this Rockets team is, Haize, they have no reason to quit.
Yeah.
They have no reason to quit. And for them in their brain, they just believe that if they continue to hold the fort and they do what they're supposed to do, Haize, they think they can win the game. And Amin Thompson's getting more confident, even though he struggled a lot in this series. Tari Eason has come off the bench and played really well and made some really good shots today in the first half to give them a lead. But overall, I mean, Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, you know, especially Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I would say, emptied the clip today. You know, he shot the ball 23 times, had 29 points, made 6 threes today. But y'all, outside of that, Moses Moody made 3 threes. But again, just in terms of how they're scoring, the Houston Rockets are making it as difficult as possible on this team. The Golden State Warriors, now, they did lead in fast break points today, and then they only has 12 second chance points. But I think some of this is they're just going to have to come out with more energy, for one. I think they're going to need to obviously make sure Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler get engaged sooner. But also, if you look at kind of the half-court ratings for this team, the Warriors, they had a 94 half-court offensive rating. I think they're going to have to be able to operate at an even higher level in Game 7. And some of this is simply just finishing shots, because when they would create opportunities off of Steph's movement, they weren't finishing those possessions. So you do need to make sure you do that. Like I said, right now the Rockets are confident. They've won 2 straight games, and it's going to be in Houston, Haize. I mean, this could be tough sledding for the Warriors.
It definitely could, and this is why the Warriors definitely you don't want to get to this point. You don't want to be up 3-1 and then allow the team to win 2 games, because now they're playing with the momentum and they're going back home. And this Houston Rockets team, you said it earlier in it when you said like they just don't quit. Like they don't. They're relentless, right? And so this series has already gotten physical. We've gotten people ejected. We've gotten texts all over. I expect Game 7 to be absolutely bonkers when it comes down to it, because I think tension is going to be high. Everybody's going to be fighting hard. And this is going to be a game where I think the team that can keep their composure as well as keep the execution, specifically the Rockets with the defensive side of the ball that they're able to execute on. This is going to be a great Game 7 to watch come Sunday, I think is when they're going to be playing.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a dogfight. This will be Houston's first time advancing past the first round since the James Harden days. So the entire city is going to be on fire for that matchup.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to look at the Eastern Conference round 2 since those are set. But first, we got to get to a message from Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. With all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, you can go beyond just managing money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on streaming services. Spoiler alert, it was a lot. Now I budget smarter and save more. The best part is I don't have to use multiple apps. I just use Monarch Money to check my finances, track spending, and plan out my long-term goals. Take control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Or game night coming up next. All right. Eastern Conference playoffs, round 2. This is going to be fun to watch. We got the series already set in this one. The Indiana Pacers are going to be taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Me and you were talking a little bit before we started talking. This is a difficult series to kind of judge, because while the Cavaliers are the better team, and I do think they're going to win this series, the Pacers, you cannot take the Pacers lightly. How you feeling about this series coming into a Swipa?
Look, y'all, I'm not going to lie to y'all. So I've been big on Cleveland all year. Cleveland fans have heard me repeatedly talk about where they were, how great they've been. Kenny Atkinson, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I mean, Max Strus is having an improved two-way season this year. I think Darius Garland, he made my third team All-NBA team. I think Darius was that good. Donovan Mitchell made second team All-NBA for me. Evan Mobley made second team All-NBA for me. Evan Mobley made first team All-Defense for me. I love DeAndre Hunter. I think Ty Jerome is excellent. Dean Wade is a dog. Sam Merrill can play. They got a bunch of guys. Cleveland should win this series. But I want to implore the audience. If you have not watched the Indiana Pacers, that team is really, really, really good. And they might not be Cleveland Cavaliers regular season good. But ever since Tyrese Halliburton has been healthy, he's basically been a 19-11 player on crazy efficiency since really January, February. And on top of that, in this playoffs, I would have you know that the starting lineup of Tyrese Halliburton, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner has a plus 14 net rating, a 117.8 offensive rating with a 103.5 defensive rating. They have been actually going heavy so far. That team has been playing so well. I think this is going to be a fireworks show. I cannot wait to see how the two teams line up against each other. Because one of the things is, too, Nesmith and Nembhard are probably two of the best Eastern Conference guard defenders that you would want to have versus Garland and versus Mitchell. And then on top of that, if you're going to have an ideal five the play versus Jared Allen and Evan Mobley is Miles Turner. On top of that, people don't realize this. Indiana's depth, like there are real questions that their depth can rival the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got, again, Halliburton, Nembhard, Nesmith, Pascal, Miles Turner, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Jarris Walker, Obi Toppin, and Thomas Bryant. And Thomas Bryant has given good minutes in this series. Also, another thing about this is the only really true non-spacer that they have, non-shooter, is Jarris Walker. But Jarris Walker is a very good defender and at least has the potential to be. Y'all, Haize, I am feeling like this should be a extremely tight 6-game series, if not outright a 7-game series. And I will not be surprised if we get to a game 7 and we're at the 10-minute mark left in the fourth quarter and the Indiana Pacers have a 3-point lead in Cleveland, and Cleveland has to tough out off of Darius Garland shot making down the stretch of that game to win it and put them in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how close I feel about this series. And there's no disrespect. This is all respect to how good the Indiana Pacers are.
See, I'm not with you there yet as far as a 7-game series, but I mean, you laid it all out there. It's not like it's outside the realm of possibility. The Pacers in the playoffs so far are shooting 61% true shooting percentage as a team, 58% effective field goal shooting percentage as a team. That's crazy efficiency, right? And they're going to need every bit of that efficiency against the Cleveland Cavaliers team that we know that the gear they can go in defensively. Now, one of the factors in this, it seems like there's a question on if Darius Garland is going to be 100% healthy in this series anyway. How big of a swing do you think that can be?
Oh, that's everything. Haize, that's everything. And Ty Jerome's good. Yeah. But if they don't have Darius Garland, it changes the way they play. Like, Darius is one of the best shot creators, pick and roll players, isolation players, clutch players. His numbers in the clutch, y'all, were even better than Jalen Brunson's were this year. Like once Jalen Brunson went down an injury, his 3-point shooting went down, and Darius Garland was excellent. Like, I think if he's not there, it changes the ceiling they have. Now, they could still make that series very good, but if DG isn't there, Haize, I don't feel near as good about Cleveland as I would if he was healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. I mean, they have a lot of firepower still, but Darius Garland makes you have to think about who you're going to put your best perimeter defender on, right? Because him and Donovan Mitchell and the balance that they have there, they're both able to go off offensively. Like, if he's not there, it makes them easier to guard. I won't say a lot easier to guard, but it does make them easier to guard. And while the Pacers aren't like this amazing defensive team, if I'm not mistaken, over the last 25-ish games of the season, the Pacers finished with about a middle of the pack defense. With the way they're able to play offense, that's good enough. And so it's going to be that interesting battle on who can come out of this in that Eastern Conference. I do think it's going to go at least 6 games. We'll see if it goes that 7. If the Pacers were to pull off a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that would be a crazy upset considering how much the Cavs ran away with everything in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, like I said, the Cleveland Cavaliers should be favored. So I don't want to mistake that. I guess what I'm trying to paint for the audience, this is not about me trying to, or even Haize, I think trying to say that Cleveland doesn't deserve to be a favorite or they don't deserve to be considered the best team. They should be. Yeah. But I guess I want people to be prepared for when you see the Pacers play them. It's like, oh, all the games are tight in the fourth. Oh, Tyrese Halliburton is cooking in the fourth. Oh, when did Nesmith? Why is he making all these baskets? Nembhard, why is he playing so hard defensively? Miles Turner. I just don't want people to be shocked if you haven't watched them this year. But this is probably going to be potentially the best series in the second round. I'm that excited for it.
All right, let's move into the next one in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks versus the Celtics. How you feeling about this one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4. I'm feeling it might be. I'm not going to lie to you. This got nothing to do with the Knicks. If Tatum is playing like this, if Jaylen Brown's there, let's see, hopefully Drew Holiday's available, KP and them, my gut's telling me this is going to be like a 5-game series. Mm-hmm. And that's just no. And I know Knicks fans, like I feel like Knicks fans have been pretty reasonable about this, but this feels like a 5-game series because the Knicks have no hope in guarding that basketball team. And because the thing is, they have to play Brunson and Cat because Brunson's obviously a top 10 player in the league, arguably, and Cat is a top 15 player in the league this year. They got to play Cat, but their defense sucks when Cat is anchoring versus the Celtics. Like they can't guard them. So some of this is like Jason Tatum buffet is just like picking out what he wants today, and then Jaylen Brown picking out what he wants. I'm feeling like this might be Celtics at 5, Haize.
Yeah, I mean, I know Knicks fans are going to hate to hear that, especially because it's Boston. It's Knicks and Boston in the playoffs. It's going to be crazy. The atmosphere is going to be crazy in both these arenas. But Boston is just like Boston's hit that place that teams that have had long-term success have hit where you kind of realize they just pace themselves now, and it feels like they can turn it on at any point in time, whenever they need to, whenever they want to. And while the Knicks have, they made it out of the first round, which was its own unique battle. I don't think they would have done that if Jaden Ivey was healthy in that Detroit series. I don't know what they're going to do with Boston, especially like, are they equipped to handle Boston's barrage of 3-pointers? I don't know that. I don't know if they are. You're going to have to hope that Jalen Brunson repeats his performance over the last 2 games in that last series, every single game in the series, because, Cat's going to have big moments as well. Make no mistake about it. But that team just does not have the defensive even floor that the Boston Celtics have. And the offense, we know that the Boston Celtics scored anybody. They play that math game really well with their 3-point shooting. If this goes past 5 games, I would be surprised. I hope that it does. I just love when the playoffs, when series goes long. But this just feels like a series Boston's going to win in 5 games, 6 maybe tops.
Well, look, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, y'all, Deuce McBride, and Josh Hart. They got to have a series.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. They got to have a series. Like, they're making life a living heck for JT, JB, KP, Drew, and Derek White, and even Peyton Pritchard off the bench. They're going to have to play lights out. Now, if they do, if all of a sudden it's like the 4 best defenders on their roster are literally locked down, then yes, you know what? They got a shot. If you can get Jalen Brunson to a 4th quarter where there's a minute and a half left and it's 95, 96, or 112, 113, now JB can go to work. But that's the question. How often are they going to be in that situation?
Yeah, we shall see. That's going to be a fun series to watch. Well, next up, we're going to be going over to the Western Conference as the Denver Nuggets Swipa's team has a Game 7 against the Clippers. But first, we got to take a break. All right. I love it when we get to talk about your team because I know you get a chance to go in depth. The Denver Nuggets against the Los Angeles Clippers going down tomorrow. This is going to be Game 7. Winner gets to move on. And the thing that the Clippers have done over the last couple of games really well is like they play defense on Jokic to where it makes him kind of hesitate, and he has to take a second to think about what he's going to do. And that really has disturbed the Denver Nuggets offense quite considerably. And they're going to need somebody to step up. Michael Porter Jr., he's dealing with a serious injury. You can feel it out there. Hats off to him for playing through it. How do you feel about this game? How confident are you in your Nuggets coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, the starters have outplayed the Clipper starters on the series. Like, I think that's been the biggest story. They have. Like, the numbers there, Nuggets starting 5 is a +6. The Clippers starting 5 is a -11 on the series. The issue is that when they start getting to the bench, really outside of Russ, things have kind of fallen apart. But ultimately, Haize, Jokic is just going to have one of his Jokic games. Murray's going to have to show up. But also, Gordon, Murray, like Russ, Brown, they're all going to have to contribute. Because what happened last year in Game 7 is hanging over the heads of a lot of Nuggets fans is that they were up 20 with like 8 minutes left in the third. But Haize, they had 2 players in that game that scored more than 7 points. Jokic and Murray. They had 35 points in Murray and 34 points and 19 rebounds and 8 assists in Jokic, and they lost because they could not get the requisite help. The Clippers are going to have 2 things they're going to pull out of their backside to try to win this game tomorrow. One, they're going to either start Nicholas Batum or he's going to start the second half. And depending on what happens with that, they're going to guard Jokic with Batum in a crowd and have Zoo play off ball and try to crowd, or they're going to go to that zone in the 4th quarter and try to stymie the Nuggets offense, and they have to be prepared for either one of those options. And also Jokic and Murray, they might have to play the whole second half. So if they want to rest an additional 1 minute or 2 minutes in the first half, they might have to play the whole second half because this is a must-win game. Kawhi Leonard, has been up and down this series. James Harden has been even more up and down this series. They won last game because James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Norman Powell had 76 combined points, and I believe they shot 31 or 30 of 47 from the field. That's why they won that game, and it was a single-digit win. The Nuggets have to come out as the aggressor. They got to come out playing good defense like they were in the first half. They have to absolutely take it to them and try to break their will early on in the top of the second half, go into the fourth quarter with the lead. Jokic, Murray, Brown, Porter, the usual suspects, and then Russell Westbrook. You got to be able to close it out. They need to get this win. But, man, the Clippers, like I said, they're going to go to DJJ off the bench. They got Bogey off the bench. They got Batum off the bench. They were playing Ben Simmons. They just have more flexibility outside of the starters, and I think that's been the story of the series so far.
Yeah, I mean that and like Kawhi and James Harden have been historically like kind of bad in elimination games, and they really broke that stigma in Game 6. They have to do it again here in Game 7. I think that's going to be one thing, interesting thing to watch here, because this is going to be this. I mean, this is it. Like whoever wins this, they move on. Who do you think out of these two teams has the best chance of? I don't even know if I want to word it, beating the Thunder, but who do you think has the best chance against the Thunder?
Yeah, I think it's Denver, the matchups this year. You know, I've talked about this multiple times. I think Denver, their worst matchup would be the Wolves. Their best matchup of the elite team would be the Thunder. Well, depending on the two, it's the Thunder. I think Jokic in particular makes the Thunder have to play differently on defense than they would have to play versus Kawhi and Zoo and Harden. Like, I don't think that they would put the same amount of pressure on OKC, because the thing about OKC is you got to score. The Nuggets have proven they can score. Their starters especially can score out the wazoo. The question then becomes, though, I think the Clippers defense also is extremely elite, and so they got a lot of really good defenders in Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard when he needs to, obviously Vika Zubac getting DPOY votes this year. So I think that they present different things, but I do think Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Porter, that would be a very unique thing for OKC to have to deal with on a consistent basis in the series. And honestly, Haize, a part of me just wants to see the two top MVP candidates playing the series together.
Ooh, yeah.
We haven't seen the two top MVP candidates play versus each other in a series since maybe 2017, 18, 16, 17. But even then, like when James Harden won, like in LeBron and all of them, like we didn't even see that in the playoff. This would be honestly the first time in basically a decade we've seen the two MVP finishers battle it out in a playoff series. And I feel like that would just be such great basketball to watch.
It would be, and then you also get the MVP announced during the series as well, right? It would be announced during the series, so that would be great for a lot of storylines. And I also think, like, just with the way the whole Nugget season is gone, firing Mike Malone, firing the GM, it'd be really good for this team to get to move on past this and just to continue to figure it out. Like Russ has played really good for this Nuggets team this playoff series. He's played really good. And Russ is always one of those players that draws a lot of criticism, and I understand why. But then it's like a lot of people are quiet as well. Those same people are quiet when he plays really well.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be a key in this Game 7 also. I'm picking the Nuggets to win this game, mainly because of Jokic. And I think Jokic, if he's aggressive to start this game, it's going to completely change the way that the Clippers have been defending him. And Jokic is enough reason for me to pick the Nuggets in this game.
Yeah, Jokic got to come out and play real. Like, he has to be himself. He has to be aggressive. He has to shoot the jumpers. He can't be hesitant, can't overthink things. Yeah, this is a big game for Joker because Joker knows he owes the team one, and he's only scored. He had his best game in the series, which sounds crazy. It's not even like a crazy Jokic game. It was 36, 21, and 8 and 2 steals. Like, that for Jokic is not like crazy. Out of this world game. And I think Jokic is going to have to replicate that to a degree. And you need to be dominant on the boards, dominant as a scorer, dominant as a playmaker, and your defense has to be locked in. Like it's been a lot of the series outside of the third quarter yesterday and first quarter in Game 1. It's time. Like this is Murray Jokic time. This is two-man game time. This is shot-making time. If Jamal Murray can give them another 30 ball, that's going to say a lot too. He had 19 last game, 43 the game before. Again, Kawhi Leonard is the most probably trustworthy player on the Clippers roster in this setting. But Jokic, man, this is your time. You're the MVP. You're the best player in the world for many people. it's your time to close the series out. With all the disadvantages you have, I think that you still want to be able to trust 15 to get the job done here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any last thoughts, Swipe, before we get out of here for the night?
And I'm already tired of the playoffs. I'm stressed. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to watch the game tomorrow, man. Like, I just want to get to the, I can't wait to watch the Patriots versus the Celtics. I can't wait to watch Game 7 versus the Warriors and the Rockets. We got some great basketball coming up. And look, Haize, about 2 years from now, the Bulls will be here. Matas, all-star on the way.
Let's hope so, man. I would love to be able to talk about some Bulls basketball in the playoffs for once. I haven't been able to do that in quite a while. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in every day, man. Make sure you guys are following us. You can follow Swiper. What's your ad, Swiper? I don't even. Swiper Cam.
Yeah, yep. Swiper Cam. You type in Swiper on Google, everything will come up. Trust me.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, man. Check us out on Locked On NBA Game Night. Every single Friday night, we're locked in here. By subscribing to this feed, you also get Locked On NBA, which drops every day, Monday through Friday in the middle of the day as well. For Swiper, this has been Locked On NBA Game Night. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.